Hi, everybody. Welcome. We are so excited to have you in Istanbul Blockchain Week in 2025. So it's a really pleasure to host such a brilliant lineup of exchange leaders at Istanbul Blockchain Week. Welcome, and thank you for joining us. So today we are not going to only talk about trading. So we will talk about trust, access, and how exchanges are evolving the future and into full ecosystems. So first of all, as a moderator today, let's start with a quick round of intros so everyone has get to know you. And also, I would like to hear from you what your exchange is focusing right now and the one thing you think the market will be overlooking at the moment after the introduction. Yeah, let's start with you.
Okay. Can everyone hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I think they can.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So my name is Nenter. I'm currently the global CEO of Bitmart Exchange. We've been around for the past 7 years, operate globally. Prior to Bitmart, I guess I've been here for about 2 months now. I was a partner for Animoca's venture fund in Hong Kong the past 3 years, focused on running investments and also portfolio and strategy. And prior to my Web3 career, I spent about 17 years in traditional finance across the likes of JPM, BOC, and such, specialist in cross-border M&A investments, and ran the sales and trading desk there as well. So very pleased to be here in Istanbul for the first time, actually. Our exchange, Bitmart, we're currently focused on a number of different new product launches. I think some I think you guys have mentioned earlier before on the AI tooling side, credit card, and also an on-chain wallet, which I can go into later. But I guess the one thing that I would say the current market is overlooking depends on what, I guess, which area, right? I mean, I guess since you mentioned security, I would say the one thing a lot of folks are overlooking, including professionals, in fact, is actually on the new deepfake scams that have been going around. One of my good colleagues from Animoca last week actually was taken for 5 of his wallets and lost almost everything he accumulated over the last couple of years. So it can really happen to any of us. So I think that's the one part I just advise everyone to be careful of.
Yeah, security is the big elephant in the room at the moment.
Yeah, pleased to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. And Badi.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you guys hear me?
Can you hear us?
No.
Is the mic working?
This mic is not working.
It's not working. Okay. Can you please help us? The mic is not working.
Maybe you guys are okay.
Oh,
so I think can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Awesome.
Right.
That's a great welcome. Okay. Great to be here. I'm Badi Sudhakaran. I'm co-founder of VALR, which is a crypto exchange based out of South Africa. We are the largest exchange in terms of trading volume in Africa. We were founded VALR in 2018, so we've been at it for about 7.5 years. In terms of like our journey, we started off small. We have backers like Pantera Capital and Coinbase Ventures, and we have about 1.5 million customers. We have products like spot trading, futures like any other exchange does. And we're currently focused on building institutional-grade infrastructure, as well as looking at expanding into more regulated markets. One of the things that the industry should pay attention to is the progress that's happening in the global south, not because customers are looking for speculation or ways to get rich quick, but actually utility-based crypto adoption that's happening in the global south. And also one other thing that I personally believe is that there is going to be a wave of institutional interest in providing crypto services to the traditional financial instruments, people who are interested in accessing those financial instruments. So that is happening. So those are the things I think we, as an industry, we need to pay more attention to.
Thank you. Thank you. And what about you, Vugar?
Hi everyone, I'm Vugar. I'm the CEO of Bitget. Definitely it's great to be here, and I'm very proud to be here because besides the innovation that we run as Bitget's success propelled through being a world's largest and first copy trading platform, we eventually believed in a decentralized world and invested $30 million to Bitget wallet, actually, which is the most loved wallet of today, where we are surpass both Trust and MetaMask, and I believe our innovation is what drives our success. Today we proudly serve 120 million customers globally, which makes us second largest exchange. We move $20 billion every day, and besides being innovative company, we are also believing in successful partnerships and truly becoming hyper-local but still a big global company. I'm sure back in 2024, you guys already cheered for the Turkish Olympians, Samet Gümüş, İlkin Aydın, Buse Tosun Çavuşoğlu, who actually brought a bronze medal to Turkish nation, and that's how our success is moving forward. We recently even partnered with La Liga and MotoGP, bringing excitement of sport and speed to 2.5 billion people globally. And in my opinion, as I mentioned, copy trading, AI, and all these innovative technologies that we apply makes us one of the forward-thinking companies. And recently we started heavily investing in possible PayFi because we believe that more than enabling people to trade and kind of make money, it's also about how we can enable every user to live fully on-chain. Not only just you make money, but make people independent from the fiat money and traditional assets, and instead being able to pay for our daily needs, whether it's a taxi ride or a hotel or as simple as coffee, making merchants to enable accept payments, because payments is very important and a painful point. Today, a Visa MasterCard charges around 1.5 to 3% commission in every transaction. It takes 15-20 days to actually receive that money, and for a small merchant it is a huge cash flow issue, while we believe instant settlements will help it. And with the recent political advancement in US, Genius Act, and almost every government in the world talking about stable tokens, I think we are very close in actually bringing that billion people on chain, and probably in next 2-3 years we'll see all of us using crypto payments same way we use Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, or as simple as bank card. And I'm very hopeful that this will make crypto a day-to-day household topic, and it will stop being a niche where we gather in a small conference rooms and talk about. It will be something that we talk every day, and we actually use it without even thinking how the technology works.
No, great, thank you. And Serdar, would you like to say something?
Actually, I'm Serdar. Nice to meet you guys. So I'm one of the listing director for HTX and working for almost 3 years. But HTX is much older than this. We established around 2013. Then currently operating all globe. So currently, you might know that, but we have rebranded from Huobi to HTX. And for the past 2.5 years, we are now a huge ecosystem with Tron, DAOs, ventures, and this alignment is really supporting us during this growth. So we currently have around 48 million users and generating around 5 billion volume. So with this actually huge ecosystem, it's also a balancing act as a tier 1 exchange. We have to lead with compliance, not just to react to it. So we can not actually, on the listing perspective, we cannot actually onboard every hype project. We need to, we need frameworks that respect regional regulations and also the global quality as well. So, that's where being part of a broader HDX ecosystem is also important because it makes a real difference regarding to, combining this whole DAO ventures and the Tron's expertise all around the regions. So this kind of alignment also give me a really huge network to work with. So this is creates the scalability and also technical credibility about what we have do. Actually, this is so far what I can say.
Thank you. So I would like to begin with the big one, as we said, the big elephant in the room. So, Nenter, you are coming from a traditional finance background. So, do you think has regulation been helping or slowing down the progress in Web3? And also, where do you draw the line between innovation and compliance?
Okay. Well, look, I mean, I think in order to move forward for the entire industry, obviously regulation is necessary to provide that clarity and transparency for, especially to onboard new institutional investors, to provide that truly sustainable growth for our industry. Having said that, obviously compliance, regulatory, that always sort of is slow, one step or sometimes multiple steps behind innovation. But so it's always playing catch up. So it's really, it's really our job as, the ones that are working with the innovative project founders and such to really be able to educate the regulators, right, within a fast. You have to do it quickly enough so they understand, so they can. So regulations are coming that's not too stringent. When you look at the U.S., for example, same SEC, but night and day when it comes to sort of whether or not it's holding the industry back or moving it forward, just by just purely by having someone in power that understands versus someone that does not. I do believe that and look, there's a lot of folks in our industry that are not very, regulations, right? Who wants it? Ideally, you can do whatever you want. But at the same time, when you look at the current issue in our market right now, which is, for example, on the token side, you're getting a lot less liquid funds, venture funds investing in projects because there's a very big lemon issue at stake here. And that's why when you don't have any sort of regulations or guidelines, that can also become an issue. Now on the token side, for example, just to take a step back, you're now seeing folks like Blockworks putting out their tokenomics framework. And why is that? It's because when you need those sort of guidelines to really provide more transparency and more trust for not just institutions but retail investors alike. So when you don't have sufficient regulations, sometimes it starts with a bunch of people coming together, forming associations to really come up with that clarity. And subsequently, those guidelines may be utilized for further advocacy of better regs to help broaden out the industry. So I would say that, in short, it's definitely necessary, and you can see by something as simple as what the Blockworks folks are trying to do to really justify that we do need those guidelines in place.
Yeah, especially after post-FTX.
Exactly.
Incident we have. Thank you. So, Vugar, what specific steps have you taken to strengthen Bitget's security? Not just technically, but also how do you communicate to your users that you are a secure exchange to be in?
Honestly, I always say what makes Bitget one of the greatest places to trade because we are the only large exchange that never suffered any security breach. And it's not because we are a lucky bunch of people, but actually we had protocols and systems in place long before in order to prevent things from the happening rather than, when things happen and then you decide what to do next. We were one of the very first exchanges to actually start the concept of protection fund. Today we have the industry's second largest protection fund. We have a pledge to keep it at $300 million level, but today it's around $600 million because it mainly consists of Bitcoin, which means we anytime have these funds that are secluded from the customer funds. If something goes wrong, we're able to purchase or sell the tokens in order to refund. And when the Bybit hack happened, actually Bitget was one of the first two exchanges that jumped in and decided to lend them 40,000 Ethereum to help them to help your customers. And this is our ethos from the beginning, that we should be always prepared for the worst day, but still we should do everything possible that the worst day never happens. Having the multi-signature was one of our key points. Entire Bitget operates in virtual machines that are randomly assigned. I'll explain it simply. For example, every day you go to work, you open your laptop, and this is your machine. But what happens in a Bitget, you open your laptop, then you have 5 virtual machines that is randomly assigned to you. Even you don't know which machine you're going to use at that point. So for a hacker, they have to hack 25 devices instead of 5 devices, which virtually is impossible. We work with almost any large provider in the industry for the security and safety. And lastly, I believe one of our most proudest partnership was with SumSap, the AI fraud prevention company that helped us to prevent any possible AI fraud, because at that time, most our exchange competitors were suffering from the deepfakes and possible fraud through the AI, because then AI became super smart and they were able to pass humanity tests with different artificially generated images and videos. And we understood that as humans we can't beat AI, but other AIs can beat AIs. That's how we started implementing AI to detect other AIs and prevent the fraud. And it's very important, right? Because the way humans think, and I always say, even for the possible scams you mentioned, and you both mentioned how much scams are widely happening, and this month we are investing a lot in the anti-scam education. And I always say, to prevent scams, you have to think like a scammer, because if you come from a good place, you probably don't know how bad actors work. And that was kind of our a second hat. I'm not saying that we have bad intentions, but we always try to use AI against guys, scammers, other scammers. And also we work with the greatest partners like Hacken and many others, who we have a huge bounty program where we ask white hat hackers to try to hack our system, and if they find the bugs, then we give them huge bonuses in order to prevent the bad guys coming and hacking us. And all these three kind of incentives method for the white hackers to help us to build a strong system using virtual machines and the most advanced technology, and partnering with almost everyone in the industry who has a better solution was our key to being safe and secure place. But again, as I mentioned, I believe that all our partners who suffered from security breach, most of the time it is because that scammers and criminals are getting, and they are having access to most advanced technology, and they have a huge incentive, especially we know what's happening with the North Korea and all these bad actors in the market. Therefore, in my opinion, even if you are 100% sure that the system is safe and secure, having that safety net is very important, and having the protection fund is important, that we are able to refund the customers and make sure that customers don't hurt. And it is a key point, because if a single exchange, the customer of the single exchange suffers, the entire exchange ecosystem kind of crumbles down. We all witnessed it with the FTX, and I think it is the first time in the modern history that the financial institution group understand this threat, and we are closely cooperating with all large exchanges from Galaxy to Binance, from OKX to Bybit, to put together our thought and to understand how we can prevent things happening rather than working alone and hoping that nothing happens.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just curious, is anybody here in this room who hasn't been scammed yet?
Haven't been scammed yet.
Haven't been scammed. Wow, great.
I love how no one here could raise hands.
I scammed.
I got scammed.
I got scammed.
Over and over again.
Okay, so this question is coming to you both, Serdar and Badi. You both operate across very different regions. So how do you balance the need for local compliance with maintaining a globally consistent experience and strategy?
Well, I think the key is to act like you're regulated everywhere, right? So just as a historical tidbit, when we first started VALR in 2018, we did approach the regulator in South Africa as to whether we can get some form of authorization or license for us to start. But at that time, 7 years ago, I think the regulators were still understanding this new asset class, trying to figure out how to regulate. So they said, we don't have a framework, we don't have a thing to give you to say, okay, you can go ahead and start the business. So when we started, we were self-regulated. So like I said, you have to act like you're regulated everywhere. And when you think about regulation, one of the three key foundational things that the regulators look at is how do you really know your customer and you can verify who they say they are? And then how do you custody your customers' assets as well as reporting, so like suspicious transactions and things like that. So with these three foundational pieces, you can, if you design your systems to be modular enough, then you can adapt locally as well as scale globally. Because as I mentioned earlier, we are looking at other regulated markets and other licensing frameworks where we can get licensed. We have an authorization in Poland, and we are pursuing a license, digital assets license in Cayman Islands and Malta. So when you look at all of these, and there's MiCA license, and then even in South Africa, there's a framework called the CASP license, which is a crypto asset service provider license, so on and so forth. And we have many licenses locally in South Africa. So the ultimate goal is obviously when you speak to the regulators, you not only are talking about the risks involved with we did talk about a lot of risks involved with this asset class, but the opportunities and possibilities of crypto as a technology for humanity to move forward in the world of finance. So long as we're working that way, I think scaling globally and adapting locally should be fairly straightforward.
Great. Serdar?
Actually, on my end, we are frequently working with the regulators, but also observing, engaging dialogue with them, also preparing full compliance before any market level activation. But what I can say here is, especially maybe not, we are in Turkey, so I will be focusing on Turkey in this manner. So we are not exactly established company here, for example, in Bitget, or also on the other hand, Bybit, like Binance does. But on the other hand, we are trying to be a bit, maybe follower and trying to slow about how we can proceed. But on the other hand, we are, working with especially in Singapore and US right now, working with the regulators really closely.
Great. So let's come to innovation. So AI, copy trading, DeFi integrations, a lot is happening, and they are all really exciting. But what's actually working? Let's talk about that now. So, Nenter, Bitmart has been experimenting with AI. What's next? Anything exciting?
So I think since you mentioned AI, there's two products that one just came live, X Insights, that's really a market sentiment tracker / intelligence product where it'll empower our traders to sort of get a real-time pulse on what's happening in the market. Look, you have different products. You have those that are tracking whale wallets for actionable insights, etc., and a lot of different AI agent type tools. Look, I mean, I think what's interesting about our product is that, you know, a good example, right? Sometimes, I don't know if you guys catch yourself saying this. I always say to myself, okay, when there's, you know, X amount of normies or people that I know around me, once they start getting excited about price action, I know it's probably time to be a little take profit. So something like that, for example, I think our product would actually work quite well just to get a pulse when you start seeing that, you know, intense excitement across, you know, folks that, you know, probably haven't traded a coin for the last 6 months. Just an example. So I definitely think, look, there's a lot of AI tools out there. Ours, hopefully, can be helpful for at least our users. But in terms of, you know, other products, I would say, you know, what we're trying to do at Bitmart is really round out the product ecosystem, similar to the way a lot of the other, you know, the other exchange folks have already, you know, developed so well. I do believe, you know, for example, right, when NFTs were a big thing and everyone was focused on NFT collections, right? You know, lo and behold, I think all the exchanges would have that sort of product available for their users. So I think this is very similar in terms of, you know, the product suite that's offered across different platforms. I think in a way you need that comprehensive suite to stay competitive. Now, differentiators, I think, are, you know, I think every exchange has their differentiating factor, but I do hope that this AI product will help our user base, because I you know, had a couple of colleagues send over the demo for me. I tried it out a couple of times. For me, it worked better when you're not necessarily for the entry, but for the exit. So.
Okay. And what is waiting for us in VALR? Is there anything exciting?
Well, yes, I think when I mentioned about building institutional infrastructure, we're seeing a lot of interest in local institutions very interested in distributing crypto products to their own customers. So we pride ourselves in building this infrastructure, and we call it Build with VALR. So any institution that wants to provide crypto services to their customers, they don't have to think about wallet infrastructures and cold wallets and hot wallets and trading and matching engines and leverage and so on and so forth, savings and staking. We've built it all, right? So and then using the APIs that we have built, many of these institutions are already integrating and talking to us, including big banks in South Africa. So that's very exciting for us. And that is where you see real adoption, where in some way you're using crypto without knowing you're using crypto, and that is where the magic happens of adoption. And it becomes a habit of using, just like when we use internet, we don't really think about, yes, now we are turning on the internet, right? So I think that is very exciting for us, and especially for our mission, where we want to make financial instruments more accessible to customers, not just locally in Africa, but globally everywhere.
Great, thank you. So, Vugar, you are leading in copy trading. So, but how do you ensure tools like that remain inclusive, not just for advanced traders? Because copy trading is not an easy thing to do.
Actually, copy trading is like a very simple tool because it is for the beginners. Mm-hmm. We have more than 200,000 traders across the world who post their trades. There are people who do very like a top 10 market cap assets like a Bitcoin, Ethereum. Then there are people who do, I don't know, 30 to 40x derivative trades with 40x leverage on a meme tokens. You have projects on traders on any taste that you can literally copy with a single click, and then in a background, all your portfolio will be shaped in the same way. It means you can choose the trader who kind of matches with your ideas, or you think that they are doing better. And statistically, you can see how many trades they open, are they profitable, are they not profitable, and all the other aspects that can make you have the decision. In my opinion, it's the first kind of entry point for any person who wants to start trading. They don't know where to start, because especially in crypto, you need a lot of information. You have to follow Twitter and many others. But then came AI bots that can do all these things better. In the beginning, we were very skeptical that people will trust AI bots with their money. But today, we see with our own AI grid bot, but also most of our traders are training the AI to not only replicate the way they open and close trades, but they also train AI to go and scout Twitter and follow, I don't know, 20, 30 big opinion leaders and news to capture that news. And the good part about AI or AI bots is that first, they never sleep. Second, they are super fast. As a human, even if you read the news on Twitter until you come to an exchange, until you open or close a trade, it's a too long time. While today, most AI bots on Bitget do from 100 to 300 operations per second. It means they can open and close so many trades that as a human, probably for you open a trade, you'll need at least good 30, 40 seconds if you're an advanced user. And as already Nenter mentioned, because AI doesn't have any feelings, because humans are very emotional, AI can easily know when to enter and when to exit and capture the profits. But also, we are missing a very important point. Whether today you are using ChatGPT for your emails or AI bot for trading, we don't factor in the computing power and the cost of running that AI. Therefore, if we consider AI for free, the trades are profitable. But I believe in future when we start actually paying the true cost per computing power, I'm not sure how much AI will be relevant versus the human trader. But in my opinion, it's a kind of a question of tomorrow, because today we all are excited and all the AI action, computing power and electricity is kind of heavily subsidized. There are millions and millions of dollars that is burned every day by large ventures. Until someone needs to actually pay for it, we will yet to see if AI can actually be profitable in all that speedy trades and transactions. But today, AI versus humans, we see that AI is much advanced in terms of the trading. But I think we should not lose our hope, the way that many believe that entertainment industry will never die, and I believe that trading will still remain one of the few industries where humans will be able to still beat the AI power tools.
So the exciting future is waiting for us regarding AI. And Serdar, HTX is backed by one of the strongest ecosystems in Web3. So how does that shape your product vision and roadmap?
It's completely transformed it. So we are not for sure operating in isolation. So this huge ecosystem gives us the wide network, as mentioned. So apart from the listing team on our side, the HTX Ventures brings high quality projects to us, and Tron brings scalability, maybe interoperability, and also DAOs brings the transparency for the decisions. So it's a pretty, let's say, consolidated portfolio on our side when it comes to, and the users can find really active portfolio regarding the tokens because we are very active on the listings. Apart from that, as a listing manager, it directly gives me a very rich pipeline. So regarding to that, we can support early stage projects and also with funding, also with technical advice, even the liquidity structuring. We can support the projects. We just don't list for hypes. So when we do that, we are trying to work with more long-term, relations with the project side. So the real challenge is building the mechanism, through this really high volatile market cycle. So not every project can able to do that. Sometimes we see like 6 months after launch, 6 months later, they can be just dumped and vanish. So we need to be careful, and we need to also protect our users out of it. What I can say also, one of the also recent milestone regarding to this ecosystem, TRX also going to launch also on Nasdaq. So we will list on there, and this is a huge move for us because it also comes with more institutional users on our side, and also probably expand the stablecoin market. Regarding to, we are now covering the 65% around of the whole stable coins. So this probably gives us the, more, let's say, opportunity to expand as well. Not just on the Tron side and the stable coin side, but also on the HDX side regarding that. So it's exciting for me, exciting as well.
Okay, thank you. So now, this one is especially close to my heart. It is the financial inclusion and the growth in emerging markets. So, and we are an emerging market as Turkey. So, Badi, you are active in regions where traditional finance often fails people. So what's your biggest challenge? Is it the regulations, the infrastructure, or user behavior?
Yeah, so I guess when you think about the challenges, a knee-jerk reaction could be regulation, but actually I think infrastructure is at the core of the challenges we face in emerging markets. So like in Africa, or for example, is a very similar market to other emerging markets. There's a lot of smartphone penetration, but that does not mean that you have reliable internet or affordable data and things like that. So there is definitely that infrastructure piece. But in addition to the infrastructure in that regard, but also there's infrastructure from a crypto point of view, like payments point of view. And do you have access to a more modern financial system than what you're used to? Because are you paying through your nose just to look at your transaction history and things like that? So infrastructure is definitely the challenge, and we have built this kind of infrastructure over the last 7 years, where people have come to, like we started off very simple with a Bitcoin to Rand, the local currency trading, and then from now we have, as I mentioned, spot derivatives and payments, and savings product, yield and staking, and inward remittances, and so on and so forth. So we have focused on building that infrastructure. But once you have that infrastructure, then you can drive user behavior, user education, and then I think regulators take notice. Because if you don't have the infrastructure, you don't have the user behavior, there's nothing to regulate, right? But we also have worked over the last 7 years with the regulators, as I mentioned, not just highlighting the risks of crypto adoption, but also the possibilities that there are to modernize financial systems. And we have worked closely with the local regulator in South Africa to build that framework for regulating crypto asset service providers. So I would say focus on infrastructure, and then focus on user behavior, user education, and then regulators will come, and then we can work together so that we are serving the customers in the best way possible in building a new financial system.
Yeah, thank you. So this question is coming to three of you, because as we know, Turkey is one of the most active crypto markets, and you also experienced this. So what have you learned from Turkish users that could influence your global strategy?
Well, I think Turkey, the population itself, well, this is my first trip here, but just from my understanding from, what I know about the Turkish markets, one of the, I think young population, at least 50% are already crypto native, right? At a minimum. And I think in terms of demographic too, very large in terms of female participation in the industry as well. The way I view it, it's similar to the way I view other markets, even though it's considered an emerging market. I think we're at a stage where most crypto users it's sort of matured, right? You start by onboarding, starting with the centralized exchanges, and then you start thinking, okay, well now I have these digital assets, Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, etc., hype. What am I going to do with this stuff? And then you start, moving further on chain to figure out sort of, okay, can I, stake here? Can I yield farm here? Be an LP here or there? Bridge across chains, etc. Right? So I think it's very clear that the direction has been shifting to more on-chain activity. And I think that's, as exchanges, I think that's why you have, folks with like their pay and wallet, on-chain native wallets, DEXs, right? That's sort of where everything's going, this hybrid model of, SEX and DEX. And I think that's sort of, my takeaway from not necessarily just Turkey locally, but just across the board is that this is sort of the natural evolution, at least when it comes to exchanges and the products that we have to offer for our customers, because it's very clear that this is sort of the open world that everyone can participate now that the floodgates are open into crypto. So I think it's, I find it very encouraging that all the exchanges are embracing this in one way or another, and if not already, most will, including ours. So I definitely think that's sort of where the opportunity is.
If I may add, I think the users in Turkey are not after a get-rich-quick schemes, but actually after something that can preserve what they already have, right? So that mirrors a lot of the behavior that we see also in Africa, many of the African countries where there's currency debasement. That's a common theme that you're basically trying to use it as a utility that's actually necessary than speculation. So Turkey is teaching us that the next 100 million users are not coming because of speculation, but out of necessity.
Yeah, just building on the thoughts of Badi, I think Turkey is a great example how the stable token is used and how adoption is forced through need rather than through something nice to have. Because in most of the advanced economies with a high disposable income, people come to crypto either to hedge or to explore new opportunities and see crypto as an investment vehicle, while in Turkey it is a daily need, and therefore we see high frequencies, more day-to-day use of assets. And also most of the cases, these people don't know how technology works, and they don't care how technology works, as long as it solves a problem. And what is the problem? A foreign exchange, or as an alternative tool to not to lose the money to the hyperinflation. And we see the same pattern in Southeast America, in the markets like Argentina, Brazil, Venezuela, and many others, also in Eastern Europe. And I think that's one of the greatest examples why the stable tokens are important and how we can onboard people, and why the actually crypto or on-chain transaction as a payment is much a stronger value proposition rather than 10x, 20x gains on some meme token kind of a hype.
And what about HDX?
On the HDX side, actually, I can say that we were one of the first localized exchange around this region, because around 2018 there was Huobi MENA. Maybe some of you can remember. So Huobi MENA established in Dubai, but had first one of the based team around here. So I can say that after that we learned a lot out of this region, because it's expanded after that. It's been a long time. And during this period, we have experienced all type of users, and also, the characteristic of this region is sometimes can be challenging and also can be very variable regarding to the other regions, because there are lots of OTC providers, arbitrage traders, and also some of the high frequency traders around here. And apart from that, it's a retail haven, right? So, related with that, lots of interactions with the KLs, and also what we have experienced so far definitely improved the product for us. Also, regarding to our global strategy, it's gives us a really good experience. But apart from that, this is not just a single market, I can say. So this is a really solid signal to, as mentioned, grow in the other emerging markets. So Turkey is one of the really good benchmarks, I can say, for HTX as well.
Thank you. So for the final round, this is a very important question for all of you. So if you had to be bet on one of the major shifts in exchange space for the next year, what would it be? CBDCs, tokenized RWAs, on-chain infra, AI trading, or anything else? You just choose one. You are betting on it. I'm taking my notes.
I'll go with tokenized, more tokenized RWAs. I think on the supply side, there's no shortage of supply. Demand side might be a different story, but I'll go with that.
I think RWAs, I'll go with that.
Yeah.
I think I would go with that as well. And I would add to that to say, I think there will be a wave of new institutions wanting to use the crypto infrastructure the exchanges have built, so that it's more ubiquitously available to customers across the globe.
I have a different opinion. For last 2-3 years, I was thinking that with all these CBDCs, stable tokens, RWAs, exchanges will become bank-like organizations. But now I'm much scared that banks are becoming like exchange-like organization. And I think in the next 2-3 years, there will be a huge shift who will stay here and who will go, and who will be able to capture the most of the market. Because for an exchange to offer bank-like service is becoming just a feature. And also for most of the banks, offering exchange like a service becomes like a feature. Therefore, it will be about right value proposition and who has the most user audience.
Can I repeat the question
What
again?
would you bet on? The next big thing for the next year.
Okay, I thought like I need to say some category. So on main perspective, actually, I bet it would be the alignment with the maybe Web3 ecosystem and with the traditional finance and also Web2, because this alignment, currently people see the CeFi, DeFi, TradFi as separate universe. So it's not that actually. We need to, on the next phase, we need to, build this bridge between the, structurally, technically, and also maybe even the, as a user experience. So probably this will be the main shift for, most engaged Web3 ecosystem to, rest of the world, maybe.
So thank you for being here with us and enlightening us about the future of crypto exchange. And thank you for listening to us. We are running out of time, but if there is any questions from the crowd, maybe we can give one or two, if any. I don't see. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.